What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Austin Show. Today we're looking at the new McFarlane Toys DC Multiverse Endless Winter Wave with the build and collect figure of Frost King. So this is a pretty cool wave, so it's part of the storyline of Endless Winter. So we have a lot of our classic characters just did more of like a winter look. So first up here we've got Wonder Woman and Batman. So as you can see, it just looks like our normal characters, but they have more thicker like padding and stuff for being in the cold. And then we have our Frost King Build-A-Figure pieces in the boxes as well. And then also in this wave we have Jon Stewart version of Green Lantern and Black Adam, and again more with those Frost King pieces. So these all look really cool, and the Frost King looks awesome. So like this head there, he looks really cool. So I'm excited to put him together, and hopefully he'll work better than some of the past Build-A-Figure pieces. They haven't worked out too well, but hopefully these will. So those are really cool. And then I'm also throwing in Aquaman, which is from the Endless Winter story, but this was a figure that was released more individually and not a part of the wave. No Build-A-Figure pieces or anything, but I thought I'd throw him in here as well since he fits with the story. But a lot of these figures look cool, and I'm excited to check out that build figure. Like I said, hopefully it's better than the past one, so I'm just excited to check all this out. So let me get him open out of the box and we'll take a look at him together. Well, let's start off with Wonder Woman, and of course this is from the Endless Winter storyline where the Frost King is causing an eternal winter across the globe and the Justice League must stop him. So we have Wonder Woman from this. So it's super cold, so as I mentioned, a lot of the characters have a lot of like winter gear on or whatever, so like a lot of layers. So that's kind of what Wonder Woman has here. So you can see she has the additional layers, so her body is all covered, unlike showing some skin as she normally does, and then has the fur hanging off her back, which looks really nice, almost like a cape, but it's all fur. But then we have the Wonder Woman garb, so she has like the headdress piece, but I like how the long covering's coming down in front of her face. Still has the tiara with the red star on top of it, so that looks nice with her long hair, and I like the braid design. So she has the center braid that goes all the way down and hangs down here to the front, and then she has the similar like Wonder Woman outfit, so like the front covering like on her chest with a big eagle there, the W sort of belt around her waist, and the leather coming down her thighs, which I like how it's thickness with like some fur at the end of it. Has the lasso of truth around there, red gloves going up her arms, pants down the legs, and then the knee-high boots with some like guards there at the knees, and then the tall red boots. So she's just all covered up, and it looks like I said ready for winter and everything. And then she has a sheath here for her sword there as well. So just this is a pretty interesting looking version of Wonder Woman. Not like a classic look for her, but I like how it took her look and modified it with like the winter garb, so that it looks really nice. So we can do her movements. So we get a head that can twist all the way around there. She can look down that far and up about that far, so not too much movement, but there it is. We get the shoulders that come up to 90 and has that butterfly joint there, which doesn't really work too well, but it's in there and can rotate around. We get the bicep twist, which is a little bit stiff, but it does twist there. We get the double elbow joint that can bend that far up on itself, so that's really good. The wrist can twist around, and it's on the ball joint, so it can flex wherever the joint is, so up and down here. And then I'm sure she got an ab crunch somewhere in there because she does crunch around a little bit. But I feel her figure's coming apart because you can see the separation there. It looks like something's come unglued with the clothing. So she has like that separation there. We're trying to crunch. So I don't want to do too much. But I'm sure with all the thick clothing in here, she has some sort of crunch. And then we get the hips that can come up that far. So under 90, out to the side a little bit there. Little bit of a thigh twist, but a double knee joint that I assume we won't get in too much because of her skirting. So yeah, it can only get up that far. And then we have the foot that can flex back and forth, twist side to side, and has the toe joint on the end. So she has pretty standard joints, but with all the coverings, it gets in the way some. And I do have a little bit of issues getting her to stand. I don't know if it's like the thinness of the feet, they're not very wide. And then the cloak on the back, like pulling her backwards. But I have issues standing her, but of course she comes with the base I'll put her on. And as I sort of mentioned with the sheath on her back, she does also come with a sword. So we have her sword here, which looks pretty cool. I like the design there on the handle and everything, and a nice long sword, which is good. It's a little bit up from the packaging, so we can take it and just slide it into her sheath. We can, of course, put it into her hand, but I think it looks cool there in her sheath. And then, of course, we have her card. So there's a picture. I thought it was of the figure, but it looks a little bit different. So I don't know if that was a modified version or what. It doesn't have the long pieces coming down the side of her face. And she has a shield here, so we don't have that stuff, so I don't know what's going on with that. But from Endless Winter, of course, and then all the regular storyline there for Wonder Woman, so nothing specific to the Endless Winter storyline. But this is just a specific version of Wonder Woman. It's not like a classic one, so you can't really get this and just throw it in as like a classic version. It's specific for this storyline, so I guess if you want to have the specific figure, then it's good, but if not, you can easily pass on it. But I like the look of it overall. It's just something unique and different for her. And then we've got Batman, which looks pretty cool here, again in a different version. So he has like his winter gear on, so it's Batman but with a bunch of like outer clothing, so like a coat here and everything with all the fur, and then he's got the additional armor on top of it. So he's just all layered out and everything, ready for the snow. So he's got the complete face covering there, so you can't see his eyes. They're covered by the goggles, so like the red tint goggles, you can see the white in there, and then the brown strap around the back. Then he's got his Batman sort of gear on. I assume it's different. It looks like a heavy armor piece with like the white on the front there, but we have the Bat logo there, and even like a little Bat logo down by his waist here, which is kind of weird. But then he has the bluish gray coat on over the top. You can see that texture and everything there with the whitish fur around on the outside. Has a belt around the waist, sort of keeping it closed. He, like I said, he still has the armor so up on his shoulders, and the little gauntlet pieces with the spikes, black gloves, and then black pants with the texture going down. He's got some knee pads with the thick metal boots there as well. So he's just all layered out, like I said, ready for the winter storm. But let's do his movements. So his head there can twist side to side. You can probably get it all the way around. Yeah, you got to fight around the fur though to get it there. You can look down that far and up that far. So a little bit better movements than the Wonder Woman, but still not that great. Shoulders can come up to 90. The armor here is soft, so it gets out of the way. So up to 90 has that butterfly joint there and rotate around. We get the bicep twist, the double elbow joint that can bend up on itself there. So once again, really good with the wrist that twists around, and on the ball can flex, but it's hard to tell where it's at exactly with the coat piece coming down. So wherever the ball joint is, it'll move. But we have an ab crunch and twist on him. You can see the separation there. But just with the coat, it's hard to get a hold of him, but he does have the crunch in there, and I'm sure he can twist it. Yeah, he can twist it in there as well. The coat is just big and bulky, and they can't get a hold of him hardly. So yeah, I just have those ab crunch and twist in there. And the hips can come up that far, so not close to 90, out to the side that far a little bit. Very little thigh twist, but a double knee joint that we can get the coat out of the way, that maybe get up a little further in the back here, can come up that far. And then we get the foot that can flex back and forth a little bit, twist side to side, and has the toe joint on the end. So once again, your standard joint just all covered up by the clothing, so you don't really get too much movements. Now for him, because of the thickness of his boots and stuff, I don't really have any issues getting him to stand, but of course have the base I'll put him on. And for accessories, he comes with a batarang. So just this big fat batarang with the red center on it, which looks cool, but it's big and bulky, and it's going to be hard to probably even get this in his hand. I don't know how he would even hold on to it without it like falling out because of the size of it, or how he'd hold on to the throat or whatever. I just don't know what you do with this thing. It just seems a little unwieldy for him, but I guess you just try and stick it in his hand somehow. But yeah, I don't know exactly what I would do with it. And finally, we have his card. So there's a picture of him in the outfit, and of course Bruce Wayne, and the same storyline. Once again, nothing pertaining to Endless Winter here. So it's a pretty decent Batman, but once again, not one necessary for the collection, just if you want to collect the Endless Winter storyline. But I like the look of it overall, just with Batman in a coat. But like I said, this is definitely not my favorite version. And next up, we have the Jon Stewart version of Green Lantern, which if you can't tell already, this is the exact same figure we've already had, which I will show the comparison. The bodies and everything is exactly the same. They just made some minor changes with this one. But overall, I do like this version much better. So this would be like my version of Green Lantern. So there's at least one good figure coming out of this wave. And overall, he looks cool. You know, just looks like your pretty standard Jon Stewart. So he has the face design. I like this one because of his hair design, which when we compare the other one, I'll point that out. But I like his green eyes in there that are bright green, and then just has the standard Green Lantern outfit. The green on top, all black in the center, green gloves, and green boots. So like I said, unfortunately with this one, we've already looked at it, so there's nothing really new to look at. Like I said, I'll do the comparison. So here is that older version. So you can see they're pretty similar. It looks like maybe they changed the tint of the green a little bit on this newer one, made it a little bit lighter, and then they changed some of the face. So it's not the exact same face. It looks like maybe they lightened up the skin color a little bit, but then you can see the haircut design there. So you can see this new one has more of like the shaved sides of the head, where this one has just the overall sort of solid haircut. And the final change is the glove color. So this older one had black gloves, where the new one has the green gloves, which I do like the all green gloves better. So that's why I like this new one much more. But for his movements, get the head that can twist all the way around, head can look down that far and up that far. So definitely the best movements out of all of them. Shoulders come up to 90, butterfly joint, rotate around, bicep twist, double elbow joint that can bend up on itself that far, and then the wrist can twist around and once again flex on the ball, which is up and down for this. We have the upper ab crunch and twist, so crunch back and forth, crunch forward, crunch back, twist all the way around in there, and then I'm sure he has a lower ab crunch and twist with the like floating midsection piece, so crunch forward and crunch back and twist there as well. We get the hips that can come up to 90 there, which is good, out to the side that far. If you start to get any farther, his leg tends to pop out, so that's really about as far as I can go there. Some thigh twist in there, double knee joint that can bend up that far to the back, so not far from kicking his own butt, and then the foot flexes back and forth, can twist side to side, and has the toe joint on the end. So he definitely has the best movements out of all the figures so far. And like I said, this is going to definitely be my version of the John Stewart Green Lantern I used. And if you couldn't tell, I got him to stand. He has some issues because his feet are small, kind of like Wonder Woman's. He just has small feet. So we get the base, we'll put him on. But what's really cool about him is he also comes with the sword. So he has the energy construct swords that he can do with the lantern ring. So these look really cool. So we'll put these in his hands. So there's Green Lantern with the swords, and that looks really cool. So that is awesome. And of course, finally, we have his card. So there's just a generic picture from the comics, and then around on the back, the story of him becoming the Green Lantern there. So very cool figure overall. And like I said, I really like this figure. So I'll probably take this and then add some of the construct pieces from that last figure. And I think this will be the ultimate Green Lantern. And the last figure from the Build-A-Figure wave is Black Adam. And of course, we just had that Black Adam trailer released recently, so more people are going to start learning about Black Adam. So this is a pretty cool figure. I like the look overall. His face is a little bit weird. Like at some angles, I like it. At other angles, I think it's just a little bit off. But overall, it's a pretty nice looking figure. Just overall, it looks like your relatively standard Black Adam. Nothing too special. He doesn't have any like winter garb on him or anything. Just kind of looks like your standard Black Adam. But I did read in the storyline that he was used to fight against the Frost King when Frost King originally appeared back in the 10th century, and him along with some other ancient characters that I'll talk about were able to defeat Frost King and lock him away in ice. And Black Adam is from the whole Shazam storyline, so he's pretty similar powers with electricity powers, so he's able to control electricity. But just looks awesome in the all black and gold outfit, has the big lightning bolt just like Shazam, and then of course a lot of like Egyptian hieroglyph stuff, and he has like a pyramid there on his belt. So just overall looks nice, just like pretty much just an all black spandex outfit with some gold details and accents thrown on, and I think his boots look really cool there as well. So pretty cool figure. The only thing I don't like much about is his face, just with the darkening of shadows around his eyes and like the black lipstick design. But overall, I think it kind of fits for what Black Adam looks like, so I don't have much of an issue. But let's go and do movement. So the head can twist all the way around, which this one's kind of weird because he has the lower neck joint as well. So the neck kind of twists around with him, so you have to worry about getting that. But he can look down that far and up just about that far, unfortunately. So not much movement in the neck for him. Shoulders can come up to 90 with the butterfly joint, rotated all the way around. We get a bicep twist, but it's so stiff and the way it's designed doesn't really twist much. But a double elbow joint that can bend up on itself, which is good. Wrist can twist around and flex on the ball joint. He's got an ab crunch in the middle, so crunch forward, crunch back. So pretty decent crunching twist around there as well. And then has a crunch and twist at the waist, so crunch forward, crunch back a little bit, and twist around there as well. Then we get hips that can come up under 90 there. Unfortunately, I can't get it much higher than that. Out to the side that far, little thigh twist, not much. Double knee joint that can bend up that far. He can pretty much kick his own butt. And then we get the foot that flex back and forth a little bit. It's hard with the design of the boot, but can flex a little bit there. Twist side to side and has the toe joint on the end. So he has the standard joints, but has issues with some mobility with some of them, unfortunately, but looks really cool there. And with his bigger boots, he doesn't have issues standing, but we'll put him on the base again. And for his accessories, he comes with some lightning effects that we can put onto his hands that I hope will look really cool. So let me try and get these on him. So there I got the lightnings on his hand, and that looks pretty cool there. They're kind of big and bulky effects, and I don't really know exactly how you get them posed up with him, but I think that looks pretty cool. And finally, we have his card, so there's like a sort of a comic looking. I like how they keep doing this where it's almost like an Alex Ross sort of design, so that looks awesome, from Endless Winter. And then there's the story of Black Adam. And yeah, it doesn't really look like there's any sort of specific to the Endless Winter storyline, but you can see exactly how he got his powers and related to Billy Bastion and Shazam and all that sort of stuff there. So that's cool to learn more about Black Adam. But an awesome looking figure, but I know there's more being released and everything, so this will probably be the worst of them once more come out. But as of now, it's a cool looking figure and fits pretty well just for your basic Black Adam, so I like that a lot. But our final figure that's not a part of the wave is Aquaman. And again, it's from the Endless Winter storyline, but to me, he looks just like your basic Aquaman. So you can really just get this and use as Aquaman as you want. But he looks pretty cool, but to me, I don't overall like the look of the figure. I think something looks a little bit off about him. So he has that classic Aquaman look. So he's got the long blonde hair, which is normal with the beard as he has more recently, but it looks pretty awesome there. But to me, his face just looks really fat for some reason. And just like the way his eyes are squinting, just seems like he's got a really fat face. And then just the way the body's designed looks like, for some reason, even though he's like skinny and stuff here and has like the six-pack sort of design, he feels really bulky there too. I don't know if it's the orange and like the scales or what the deal is, but he just seems really fat. So it's like with the fat face and the fat body, he just seems like it's a fat character, but it's Aquaman and he's not. I don't know what the deal is there, but it's awesome with the all orange scale. So like the fish scale design, but looks pretty cool there in the all orange, and then the green. So he's got the green gloves and the all green pants with the little fins there on the back of him, and the gold belt around his waist with the Aquaman logo there and a little bit of gold around the neck as well. So just looks really cool. Like I said, very classic looking version of Aquaman, at least more recent comic book wise, but has that classic look of the orange and green outfit. So I just think it looks really cool. But let's go and do his movements. So his head gear can twist all the way around. I thought the hair would be in the way, but it can still twist. Look down that far and up just about that far. So yeah, very little movements there in the neck though. Shoulders up 90 with the butterfly joint that gets stuck a little bit, so a little bit of issues, but it can rotate all the way around as well. Bicep twist, double elbow joint that bends all the way up on itself. Wrist twist around, flex on the ball joint. Ab crunch and twist in the middle, so crunch forward, crunch back, so a little bit of crunching twist around there as well as down at the waist, so forward and back, so a little bit better crunching there and can twist as well. Hips can come up 90 out to the side that far. Yeah, I can do the splits, so this is the best figure with that so far. A little bit of a thigh twist. Double knee joint bends up that far to the back, and then we get the foot that flexes back and forth, twist a little side to side, and has the toe joint on the end. So he has the standard movements as well, and no real issues with that. So he's probably the best movements out of all the figures so far, which is good. And I am having a little bit of issues getting him to stand, as you can see, so I'll have to put him on the base. And of course, for Aquaman, we have to have his trident. So here we have his trident, which looks pretty cool in the all gold design. Really awesome weapon. So let's go put this in his hand. So there is Aquaman with the trident, which looks pretty cool and very classic. And of course, we have his card. So there's a picture of him there. I love that artwork with the shark and everything there. So that is awesome. And then the storyline there of Arthur Curry. And again, nothing related to this storyline, but good for understanding Aquaman. So very cool figure overall. Like I said, this is a good, awesome figure to add to like your basic like Justice League or whatever, because he looks very classic. So this would work as well, along with the John Stewart Green Lantern and everything. So another good figure to add to the collection there. I just wish, like I said, this figure overall to me didn't have like a fatness look to him, but overall I really like it. And that brings us to our Build-A-Figure of Frost King, which is really cool. He's big and ginormous, so I have to show you at the end with all the figures together just how big he is. But his real name was Edwald Olafsson, a meta-human from the 10th century with cryonetic abilities that was defeated by Hippolyta, Viking Prince, Swamp Thing, and Black Adam, all teaming up together, and they buried him into a glacier. But that glacier would eventually become the Fortress of Solitude, and when the fortress was destroyed, Frost King was released, and with being in the fortress and, you know, Superman and everything, he was also empowered with kryptonite. So we can see some kryptonite, I assume, like the horns and the spikes coming off of him, I assume are the kryptonite pieces. And he has the power of cryokinesis, so he can generate, control, and manipulate ice, snow, cold. And he has superhuman strength and durability. So he looks awesome here, and he's really tall, as I mentioned. We'll pan down here, we can see just how he is from his boots all the way up. So I like this overall, has a combination. So it's like with the name, it reminds me of Loki, but also the Night King from Game of Thrones. So I feel that's a lot of combination going into this character here, but overall he just looks awesome. I love like the bear head with the horns there on his belt, just his horns in general with his face. So he's got the big ugly face with the black designs around his eyes. It reminds me of Lobo just with the face, but he's got the light blue skin color. Nice beard here coming down with some braids in the front, and then the long hair down there in the back. Nice long cape with some fur and everything there, was all tattered. Big armor up on the shoulder, like I said, with the spikes that I assume to be the kryptonite, but nice big shoulder armors there with some gauntlet pieces with some armor, a little bit of kryptonite on that side. It looks like armor down the center, along with like some leather pieces hanging down, leggings going all the way down to the boots with some fur around him there, since he is Frost King, got to be a little bit warm. But overall, just an awesome looking figure, and just the size of it is huge. But let's try and do his movements. The head can twist side to side there. You can look down that far and up a little bit. So very little movements in the neck, but not bad overall. Shoulders can come up. I assume they're going to be issues here in the way. It can come up under 90 still, but just about that far. Of course, rotate around within there. We have the single elbow joint here that can bend up a little bit and has the rotation in it, as well as the wrist can twist around, which I assume, yeah, with the crystals is going to be in the way. And then it has the standard joints, as you can see, so it can flex back and forth there, and not the ball joints, so I'm happy about that. Then we have the lower ab crunch and stuff here, so crunch forward, crunch back, and twist all the way around there. Then we got the hips that can come up just about that far, so maybe 45 degrees out to the side there, so yeah, pretty close to getting to the splits. Little thigh twist, a double knee joint that, hopefully I don't pinch myself, can bend up at least that far to the back, so yeah, actually not too far from kicking his own butt. And then we get the foot that can flex back and forth, and again, it has like the standard joints, so I like that a lot. So it can flex back and forth, a little bit stiff and get stuck, can twist side to side there, and has the toe joint on the end. So there's the big bulky Frost King, and I actually like this a lot because, like I said, I like the joints. He doesn't have any of the joints I really have issues with McFarlane's on, so I like that a lot. And he's not falling apart like that Bane we had in the past or anything. He's actually staying together pretty well, so no issues really at all with the Frost King. I just wish it was a more like well-known character for me personally, so then I would like it even more. But what's really cool about him is he also comes with a sword here, so I assume like an ice sword or kryptonite sword, whatever you want to call it, but in the all see-through green here, which looks cool with a lot of nice details. Again, a little bit up from the packaging, but a big awesome sword here. So let's try and put this in his hand. So there's the sword in his hand, and that looks really cool here. So just a very awesome figure overall, and makes this wave really cool. For the Endless Winter Wave with the Build-A-Figure of Frost King here is awesome. So there's all of our Endless Winter Wave, where we had the Justice League characters of Wonder Woman, Batman, Green Lantern, Aquaman, and Black Adam thrown in here, with the Build-A-Figure Frost King there in the back, so you can see how big he is towering over the rest of the characters. And this is all pretty awesome. Like I said, a lot of these are specific for this wave. It's like the Batman and Wonder Woman, pretty specific to this, but the other three characters are really good. So the Green Lantern, the Aquaman, and the Black Adam are all good basic characters to have for your DC display, because they can fit in just about anywhere. So overall, I think this wave is pretty cool. Like I said, you get those characters and the Build-A-Figure of Frost King, which is a big mean looking character to throw on your shelf as a villain. I think this would be a pretty good wave just overall. But let me know what you thought of these figures down in the comments, and if you enjoyed my review, let me know with a thumbs up. But I want to thank y'all for watching. I hope you all stay awesome out there, and I'll see you in our next review.